A city with no skyline, streets with no sun. It is completely underground with all necessary elements to run a state. Welcome to China's hidden world, a sprawling subterranean metropolis being carved out from beneath the mountains. What secrets does it hold, and why is it being built? Let's find out. Welcome to Farabi Focus. Our story begins high up in the remote mountains of southwest China. Here, amid the mist and the majestic peaks, lies an entrance, an opening that leads down into the earth. This hole is just the beginning, a gateway to a vast and intricate network of tunnels that stretch deep beneath the mountain. They are so extensive that some believe they could even serve as a shelter to protect against nuclear attacks. But these aren't the only tunnels being built in China. Across the country, particularly in major cities, there's been a surge in the construction of underground facilities. While the government is tight-lipped about their purpose, rumors abound. Some say they're repurposing Cold War-era bomb shelters, while others claim they're part of a new military strategy, a way to ensure the country's survival in the event of a catastrophic attack. The scale of what China is doing is truly mind-boggling. Cities like Chongqing, one of the most populated cities in China, are sinking deep into the ground, literally turning themselves inside out. They're building underground shopping malls, parking garages, even entire subway systems beneath the existing ones. It's as if they're creating a secret city hidden from the rest of the world. But why? What's driving China to invest so heavily in underground infrastructure? Well, there are several theories. One has to do with the country's unique geography. Much of China's population is concentrated along its coast, leaving its vast interior relatively empty. This makes it vulnerable to attack, particularly from the east and southeast. In the event of a conflict, the coastal cities could be quickly overwhelmed, leaving the inland areas as the last bastion of defense. That's where the underground facilities come in. They would allow the country's leadership and much of its population to survive and operate even after the coastal cities have fallen. Another theory is that China is simply preparing for the worst-case scenario, a massive nuclear attack. The country's leadership has long been paranoid about its vulnerability to attack, and this has only grown since the end of the Cold War. With the threat of nuclear war now greater than ever, China is taking steps to ensure its survival. The underground shelters could provide enough food, water, and supplies to sustain the country's population for months, if not years. They could also withstand the blast and radiation of a nuclear attack, allowing China to emerge from the ashes if and when the threat passes. Gosh, this is all speculation. The Chinese government is extremely secretive about its plans for these underground facilities. But that hasn't stopped people from coming up with all sorts of theories. Some believe that the tunnels could be used to smuggle people or goods in and out of the country undetected. Others believe they could be used to launch surprise attacks on enemy forces, or even store dangerous biological weapons. One of the most ambitious projects is the Underground Great Wall. This is a series of tunnels and bunkers that are being constructed beneath the existing Great Wall of China. They redesigned to be large enough to accommodate hundreds of thousands of people and are being equipped with everything from hospitals to factories. The idea is that if war breaks out, China's leaders and their top scientists and engineers will flee to the underground wall where they can continue to direct the country's military and scientific efforts from safety. But this raises a lot of questions. Why do they need factories? How long do they expect to stay there? And what happens when they run out of food and supplies? Well, the answer to the first question is simple. China knows that if it comes to war, it won't be a conventional conflict fought with tanks and fighter jets. It will be a war of attrition, a battle of logistics. The side that can keep its factories running, its farms producing, and its people fed the longest will win. And China is making sure it's prepared for that. As for how long they plan to stay in the underground wall, well, that's less clear. Some experts believe that they could remain there for months, or even years if necessary. Others believe that the whole thing is a bluff, a way to make other countries think China is more prepared for war than it actually is. What's also impressive is the technology involved in keeping people alive and healthy in such a confined space for such a long time. It takes a Herculean effort to build and maintain the complex systems of ventilation, water filtration, and waste management that will be necessary to keep the inhabitants alive. There are also concerns about the psychological effects of living in such close quarters for such a long period of time. But again, China seems prepared for that too, with plans for parks, schools, and other facilities designed to keep people occupied and healthy. Of course, no amount of planning can fully account for the unexpected. There's always the possibility of a catastrophic event that could take out large numbers of people, whether it's a disease outbreak, a natural disaster, or simply boredom and unrest. Only time will tell how well China's underground shelters will actually function in a real-world situation. But China isn't the only country working on similar projects. In fact, many countries around the world have invested heavily in underground infrastructure in recent years. Some of this is purely practical, like the extensive network of tunnels and bunkers beneath Washington, D.C., designed to protect the U.S. government in the event of a nuclear attack. Other projects are less practical, like North Korea's underground nuclear test site, which was recently shut down after the country conducted its 6th nuclear test. So is China's project a war or survival? The truth is that both are possible. It's entirely conceivable that China's leaders are preparing for a catastrophic war, perhaps with Taiwan or another regional power. But it's also possible that they're simply hedging their bets, preparing for any potential disaster without taking sides. After all, China has suffered greatly from war and natural disasters in the past. It only makes sense that it would want to do everything it could to protect its people from future threats. These underground facilities are a marvel of engineering and technology. They showcase the incredible feats that humans can accomplish when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. The scale and complexity of these projects are truly inspiring, and they provide a fascinating glimpse into the minds of the brilliant engineers and planners who designed them. Imagine the logistical challenges of building a city beneath the mountains, complete with all the necessary infrastructure to support life, including power, water, and waste management. These projects require a level of coordination and precision that is truly remarkable. From the construction of the tunnels themselves to the installation of the complex systems that keep the inhabitants alive, every step must be carefully planned and executed. But the true marvel of these underground facilities is their adaptability. These structures are designed to be flexible and versatile, able to adapt to a wide range of situations, whether it's a natural disaster, a military attack, or any other unforeseen event. These facilities are meant to be able to respond and provide the necessary resources to keep people safe. However, there is also a darker side to these underground facilities. They are, after all, designed to be used in the darkest of times, whether it's the depths of a long winter or the aftermath of a nuclear attack. There's something inherently unsettling about the thought of entire cities existing beneath the surface, hidden away from the world. These facilities are shrouded in secrecy, hidden from prying eyes and designed to be self-sufficient, cut off from the outside world. This sense of mystery and isolation is only heightened by the fact that these facilities are often built in remote locations, far from the prying eyes of the public. In the end, China's underground facilities are a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. They showcase our ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges and adapt to any situation. However, they also serve as a reminder of the darker side of human nature, our capacity for destruction and our need for secrecy and control. What do you think about China's underground city? Do you think it's a sign of paranoia, or is it just good preparation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.